When a political leader, a national leader tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda, I'll put aside 100 billion for this. No, this facade and stories that are being coined and being bandied around, just so that people create excuses and they camouflage around things that don't exist to survive, or create excuses and pathways of lying and carrying the public along with them.
Safi, karibu tena mtazamaji, hapa ni Havana Media na kwa majina naitwa Boniface Owino. Na mwanzo kabla sijazungumza mengi, wacha nianze na kuwashukuru nyote. Yani nyinyi watu ambao nyinyi watu wa maana sana, mnanipa support yenu kila wakati. Kila wakati nikiweka ujumbe ama nikiweka video, mna make sure kwamba mmefika hapa na mmewatch. Community yangu nawashukuru sana. Ni ile tu sina cha kuwapa, lakini kila ambacho mnanifanyia ni cha maana sana. Ndio maana inabidi hata na mimi niwashukuru na niseme asante sana. Na iwapo tunakutana kwa mara ya kwanza, pia naomba tuungane na familia hii. Iwapo uko Kenya, uko nchi mbalimbali pia, unaweza niambia uko unatazama ukiwa wapi? Wapo uko Kenya, uko sehemu gani ya Kenya? Ni wapo uko nje ya nchi ya Kenya, uko nchi gani? Ikiwa uko kule upande wa US, uko Germany, ni vyema pia uniambie tu wewe unatazama ukiwa wapi, na mambo itakuwa sawa. Sasa ningependa kuzungumza kuhusu kitu fulani hapa, ya kwamba wakati wowote unapaswa kabla hujazungumza ama kabla hujasema jambo lolote, unapaswa kujiuliza kwamba hiki kitu ambacho naenda kukisema, je, ni cha ukweli? Na iwapo si cha ukweli, ni kwa nini nimeamua nizungumze hili na watu, ilhali watu wanajua kuwa kitu ambacho nakisema si cha ukweli? Nazungumza hivi kwa sababu jana nilisikia kisa fulani chake Kipchumba Murkomen akizungumza akiwa kwenye kikao, na alikuwa anazungumza lakini kuna mwanamke mmoja, kuna mbunge mmoja, kuna huyo mbunge ambaye anaitwa Catherine Omanyo alisema kwamba, aliambia Murkomen kwamba unazungumza mengi sana, ila hali kitu ambacho nakisema mimi mwenyewe sisikii, yani sisikii kila ambacho nakisema. Murkomen anaambiwa kwamba umezungumza sana, tena umepiga kelele, lakini hakuna kitu cha msingi ambacho umesema. Mimi mwenyewe sijasikia chochote. Yani imefika mahali hadi nikajaribu kublock akili yangu ili nisikize.
Catherine, running a government is not an easy thing, especially when it comes to money. You need to be, and this is money. This is not about anything else, it's about money. And as a country, we have to adapt mechanisms that can give us greater value at once. You have 7 acres. You have other government programs that you want to implement. You can construct a sports academy alone for 50 million. But you can add a social hall, indoor arena for playing maybe boxing and table tennis and other issues in the same place. It is worth waiting for another 2 weeks to have this value at once and maximize the resource that is there at once, than to hurry up and have white elephants in the country. It's better when it's something good, and I don't think I'm speaking a language that is strange. This language is of truth.
I just want you to know that anyone who is working in this government and comes here, gives us promises, and deep down their hearts, they know they are lying or buying time. Being a new person in this office, I think we should go with what the PS said and the CEO, or we will impeach them, because we cannot sit here. We go to our villages very excited with all the chiefs and village elders clapping for us. Me being a new member of parliament, how do I go back to the people and say, the new CS came in with the new terms? Because that is what I'm seeing. It is very unfortunate that we are still discussing about this. I thought we were going to be told from this date and this date, things are rolling out. Not cancellations, postponement, new discussions. It's sitting bad. Even as you sit there, I was telling my colleague, the CS is talking too much. Because already I'm seeing it is not progressive. We are now on pause. And yet we had kid play We were so excited, all of us here. So I don't know what exactly you've been saying. Maybe I'm not understanding because I just blocked. From listening, I blocked my mind. Can somebody talk a language I understand here? Mambo iko karibu kuharibika hapa.
Yani, hii serikali ishajulikana kwamba mtu yote ambaye ako kwenye serikali anasema uongo. Hakuna mtu yote ambaye ako kwenye serikali ambaye mambo yake anasema mambo ya kweli. Kila mtu ambaye amehusika na William, sijui kama William Ruto aliwaita kakikundi, akaweka mahali akaanza kuwafunza jinsi ya kudanganya, kwa sababu kama sio tutatenga tumefanya, basi ni tunatarajia. Shaelewa? So kila wakati yani ni mauongo. Hadi imefika mpaka kwa CS ambao wamepewa kazi juzi, au pia wameanza kudanganya. Juzi umesikia John Mbadi kitu alikuwa anasema. Sasa hivi jana hii ni Murkomen anazungumza, na imagine anazungumza hivi, na tunajua kuwa kuna mambo ambayo yanafaa kufanya. Kuna viwanja ambavyo vinafaa kutengenezwa. Kwa sababu sijui ni mwaka gani, kwa wale ambao wanafuatilia mpira, mnaweza mkaniambia ni mwaka gani ambao Kenya inafaa kuhost, I think kama sio sijui inaitwaje, ni AFCON ya. Sijui ni mwaka gani Kenya, kama si 2025, 2027 msielewi, 2026, 2027 mimi sielewi hayo, lakini ule ambaye anaelewa anaweza tuambia hapo kwamba ni mwaka gani Kenya inafaa kuhost AFCON. Viwanja vinafaa kutengenezwa. Wale watu ambao wanafaa kuchaguliwa ni watu kama Nick Mwendwa amekaa hapo kuwa rais wa FIFA Kenya, lakini amekula hela sana. Hakuna kitu ambacho tukiwa tu hapo kwa mambo ya uongo, kwa sababu hii video specifically nimeamua nizungumze kuhusu uongo ambayo serikali inapea watu. Miaka mbili tatu zilizopita, kuna wakati ambapo Matiangi alikuwa kwenye serikali, kuna jambo ambalo Matiangi alisema. Matiangi mwenyewe alisema kwamba hii serikali ni serikali ya uongo, kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe najua yale mambo ambayo yanafanyika. Hamna haja wewe uko kwenye serikali na uanze kuambia watu uongo ilali unajua kwamba hiki kitu ambacho nawaambia ni cha uongo.
The COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It is the pandemic of lies. You know, people stand up and they say things that they think make sense. You know, I've been looking at politicians, and fortunately I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn, and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women, I'll put aside 50 billion for boda. I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time you have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties. You have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it. You know, when you keep saying there's deep state, who is that? And the people who are using that phrase and complaining are members of the National Security Council. They hold public offices. They tell you they are powerful people. So who is that? No, this facade and stories that are being coined and being bandied around, just so that people create excuses and they camouflage around things that don't exist to survive, or create excuses and pathways of lying and carrying the public along with them. I want to ask you as church ministers, I am your son, and as a public servant, we have a country to serve. Let us not be victims of some of these lies that you keep hearing around, but things that just don't make sense even to a fool. How would you tell people? Yeah. How will you stand up? I'm asking you. How, Bishop, how will you stand up in public and tell me, who is that? And then you don't even have the courage enough to take a decision and say, okay, because I don't agree with the Attorney General and all these people, me, I'm not going to be party to you. In the morning, you speak like government. In the afternoon, you speak like opposition. You see, the question, let's be honest. You see, the total annihilation of common sense and betrayal of common sense in the political practice in this country is shocking. When you tell people about there being who is that? What is that deep state? The Inspector General who seated here? We have passed a constitution that requires us, it's in black and white. You know, even me, if I have to give directions to the Inspector General, the law requires that I put it in writing. And since I became Minister for Interior, I told the nation the other day, I've written 2 such letters, one to Boynet and one to him, to provide policy guidance. And even before I send it, I asked the Attorney General, does it pass muster? The Attorney General says, under the law, you can't do this. So, stop here, let us proceed. Now, how can you turn around in a country of the amount of freedom that we have? Nairobi, for your record, Bishop, Nairobi houses the largest number of foreign correspondents and media houses on this continent. I've challenged people, if you don't think there's freedom in Nairobi, go and report from Addis. Yeah. With all this freedom we have, in a country where the president is insulted liberally by everybody, by opposition politicians, how will you tell me that there exists a covert, dark op element of government that is intended to do certain things? When did you last face and scrutinize and excoriate the Minister for Security? I am here to answer questions. Which is this dark side that exists? Where is it? Don't be drawn. I'm telling you, don't be drawn to some of this. You see, we are unfortunate that we have a brand of leaders. I told you earlier that the narrative we need to be discussing about the future of our country is how we handle corruption and how we create an integrity system of managing our country so that the resources God has given us can benefit our children and our children's children. Now, instead of having that conversation, the artists, the political artists who want to avoid that conversation, they come up with all manner of excuses. Oh, there are people who hate me called deep state, and you sit with them daily. So when do they become deep? When they are with you or when they are not with you? So, look, forget about this. We run an open, transparent, accountable government. Our president, my boss, is probably one of the most liberal and open-minded heads of state on this continent. We are a responsive government. I am not aware. Tell me what you want to know about this government and where you want to go, I take you there. Do you want to go and sit in MC3 in Matiangi'S office and watch the patrol thing? And so on. When you ask questions, we will answer. But you see, to create campaign jargon, you know, this story of you must look for a way of creating some level of sympathy so that people can sympathize with you, that you are an underdog. So you create some phantom, some fictitious devils that are existent somewhere that are against you. And these devils are not described. So you use some communist type language and call them deep state. And say, you know, these people, they may be having the state, but we have God. God is for all of us. You can't have God yourself. So, Bishop, forget about this thing, my brother. Let's just go forward and build our country. That's what exists.